So before we start the video, I want to say this. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I think logging TPS on a carburetor is equally as important or more important than logging TPS on an EFI car. Now, EFI cars obviously have to log this for the computer. I get that. But when you're trying to look back through a data log and you're trying to tune your carburetor, it is very important, if you have the capability, to have a TPS sensor. If you're looking at your graph and you see your lean here and rich here, you need to know at what point, at what throttle position you were, because you need to know if you need to adjust fuel in the front barrels or in the back barrels. So I think once you guys think about it, you'll understand the importance of being able to log this. It completely changed the game for me once we put this TPS sensor on the car. All right, with that being said, let's go ahead and get to today's video. So you all know that we've done a blow-through setup on the Calypso, and it's working really good. So we have the capability to data log the car through the Terminator X. The problem is I can't data log my TPS. I have no TPS anymore. So when I take the car out, I want to be able to tell if, quarter throttle, half throttle, full throttle, whatever the case may be. So that way I know if I'm working off of the front barrel or the back barrel. So I got to searching a little bit and I ran across something that I hope will work. So RTD Racetech Direct, it is a TPS sensor for a carbureted setup. And it's an Innovate item, or at least it works with something that Innovate makes. And also I've got two new sensors ordered. One is a fuel pressure sensor and one is an oil pressure sensor. At that point, guys, you can log pretty much anything on this thing that you want to, and that'll really help you tune your carburetor. First things first, before I go installing all this bracketry over here on my carburetor, I want to go ahead and snip these wires and see if we can get this TPS to work. So this is my old TPS deal. You see where I had to make some connections. So all we're gonna do is strip these wires back and probably just twist them together for now. Okay, plug that in. All right, next up, we're gonna switch the car on and we're going to go to Home, Wizards, TPS Auto Set, make sure ignition is on, the engine is not started. It says slowly press pedal twice to the floor. All right, so it's not hooked up to a pedal, so what we can do is just take this and sweep it by hand. 1, 2. We'll hit next and see if it worked. Ha, look at that, guys. Check it out. That worked. All right, so TPS is right there. Let's see if this works. You see? Oh, check it out, guys. Oh, that is freaking sweet. Now I'm just going to unhook everything and just remember that orange and red go together. So there you go, guys. If you're carbureted and you have a Holley Terminator X and you're wanting to monitor, there you go. This thing actually works. This bracket's going to sit on your carburetor like this, attached to the bolt up front, and this TPS basically has to go through this side. So what you have to do here is take this bracket and slide it in behind that lever, and that's how it all locks in. And your bolts go in from the back side, each with a washer on the front with a lock nut. Oh yeah, and this is where the lever goes that came in the kit right here. This screw is really hard to come out, and you'll flood your carburetor or your car if you continue to try to get this thing out. So it twists the throttle blades as you do this. So for me, if you have one of these bars right here, just lock down the throttle so that it can't move, and that'll allow you to go ahead and break that free. So I'm gonna leave that on for now, but that's what we got to do. Let's go ahead, get this nut off and see if this thing works. All right, and this just goes right here. Okay, so that's how that sits, and it looks like we're going to be pretty close, like right off Jump Street. So let me go ahead and release this.
see if this works. Look at that. That's going to work out perfect. All we have to do now is tighten everything up. So yeah, we're looking pretty good. We want this thing to probably sit about just like that. All right, everything is set up. Let's go ahead and see. I probably flooded the car out from moving it as much as I did, but all right, let's see where we're at. TPS is at 0. Oh, check it out, guys. That is so freaking cool. Nowadays, guys, literally you can do everything that you could have done with fuel injection, minus, you know, tuning your fuel and controlling your fuel from there. But you can monitor TPS, oil pressure, fuel pressure, timing, control your fans, control your nitrous, control whatever else you got going on, control your boost, all still being carbureted with the Holley Terminator X or micro squirt or possibly even other systems out there. So that's something to think about. You don't have to have the Holley to make this work. I feel very confident that with a micro squirt or a mega squirt, you can still do the same thing. But you guys do your own research. I didn't have time to look into that, but I have heard of a couple of guys doing it. So amazing, absolutely amazing that everything just was a plug and play deal. I mean, this thing is still labeled TPS now, so that's just cool. So, of course, I forgot to close the video out. I was so excited with my new TPS and being able to log it and everything else. So we'll kind of close the video out here. I want to say this. I've had some comments where people were saying, well, you know, I don't have the capabilities of logging all this stuff. Listen, the main reason why I'm going through all the trouble to, you know, log all of this and do things the way that I'm doing it is because I already had the Terminator X in the car. So why not go ahead and use it? So I'm trying to use it to its full capability for the guys that maybe want to go this route. We'll talk about it in another video, but I will say this. I feel pretty confident that you're really not going to spend any more money, possibly even less money, going with a Terminator X setup in your car if you're looking for like a blow-through setup, carbureted application to where you want to control ignition and be able to log stuff and pull timing for boost. I feel like that by the time you buy, you know, the MSD system, especially if you end up going with something like a grid, but by the time you buy all of your MSD components, your distributor, your boxes, and everything else, you're roughly in the same ballpark. So I think this is a really good option, and we'll talk about that in another video so that I can better explain to you why I think the Terminator X is a great option for you guys that are carbureted. But before we go, I just want to say you don't have to have any of this if you're just wanting to go carbureted. If you're EFI and you want to go carbureted, you don't have to have all of the stuff. I need this because we have boost. Because we have boost, we have to be able to pull timing. And I really want to know exactly what I'm pulling. But there are other alternatives. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. Another carburetor tuning video will be coming up shortly, probably right behind this one. And maybe all this will help you guys out. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. And as always, thanks for watching.